Knicks family, what's popping with you? Happy Sunday. Hope you had a great weekend. And hopefully the New York Knicks are going to make your weekend even better, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks take on the Portland Trailblazers tonight. And if they can pull off a win, get back on the winning track, they can set themselves up, put themselves in a nice position in the Eastern Conference. You know, right now they're a half game over the Chicago Bulls for that 8th seed. If they win tonight, they can put themselves a game above them. And the Chicago Bulls play the Boston Celtics tomorrow. Right? And, you know, I know a lot of people don't want to look at the playoff standings and all of that. But, hey, it feels good to me to be able to take a look at them and say, these are some things that we need to do to stay here. You know what I mean? So tonight, and just a tidbit so you remember, the game is changed from 9. The game was supposed to start at 9 o'clock tonight. It's now starting at 10. Just so that you remember. I just want to make sure you guys remember that. The game starts at 10 o'clock tonight. We get these guys over here. See what everybody is thinking. Andy, what's going on with you, man?
Yo, what up? What up to the chat? What up to you? What up to the panel? Happy I can join in and you know, be a part of this pregame show. I'm not going to be on the post game because I'm going to be at work. The game started at 4 a.m. today. So, you know, I'm going to be at 7. I'm going to be probably at work. So,
wow, you're going to be, it starts, you're going to be, what time you got to be to work?
No, the game is going to start at 4 a.m. So, right. You know, I'm counting like 2.5, 3 hours. And at 7, I'm just leaving the house for work. You know. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass watching the game, and I'm going to come after work, pop a beer, and just to watch it.
There you go. There you go. I don't blame you. Divine, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on to the chat, to the panel? What up to you, Sim? Another Knick day to come up, man. I'm ready for the game tonight. Hopefully we pull out that W, like you said, 9-9. Hopefully, man, the first quarter way through the season. You know, hopefully we have a good bounce back off the little bit of lackadaisical performance from the other night, but hopefully we, like I said, we get it done, man. So I'm ready, man. Let's go Knicks.
Yeah, no doubt. Prince?
And just looking for us to come together as a team, fight, and, you know, like I said, it's going to be a tough one because we know Dame Lillard, as weird as it is, I was thinking about it earlier, he's a little bit of Fox, and he's a little bit of Steph Curry because, again, he can shoot the three whenever he wants to, and he can blow by you just as well. So again, we got our hands, we got our hands full with him tonight. But again, I ain't never scared. So let's go get this W. Let's get this W.
No doubt. You know, the thing about the Knicks going up against Damian Lillard, you know, obviously, like you said, he can go to the basket, he can shoot the three, but he's kind of a lone man out there. You know, the last game they played, he had to drop 35. You know, and I think. He dropped 35, and I think Rodney Hood dropped 21, you know, something like that. You know, now they have had a week, and we're going to get into it. They've had a week to, you know, really prepare with their lineup. So, you know, they're coming in with some fresh legs, but we'll talk about that. Stephanie?
So, Chad caught me off guard there, but shout out to the chat.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. The panel, I finally got a chance to watch the Kings game today. I fell asleep, believe it or not, on the last game. It was closer than I thought. I think today, as long as Lillard doesn't go off and we can hold down the rest, I think we have a chance.
Yeah. And that's, you know, Lillard, he's probably, you know, he's feeling good because he just had twins. He knows,
maybe he's tired.
Yeah, he could be tired. He could be tired. You know what I'm saying? He could be tired. Feeling good. He just had twins. He knows he's got to be the man, and like, you know, there's probably a different gear that he's looking to step up to. Just knowing, like, I've got to do this. You know what I mean? I don't have CJ here. You got Melo there, but Melo's still only giving you 12 a game. You know, Josh.
Going on, everybody? Sam, Divine, Andy, Prince, Steph, how y'all doing? Salute the chat. Salute MBK family. I'm excited. I'm excited tonight. Tonight is a game that I think the Knicks can definitely win. I'm also excited because I get to see my guy Carmelo Anthony back in action. I haven't watched him really a lot since he left New York. And that's somebody I wanted the Knicks to pick up in the offseason. I think he would have been a tremendous acquisition for this team. With that being said, I think this is a game that we can win and we can continue our, winning ways or competitive ways, if you will. So I'm looking forward to tonight.
Yeah. And go ahead, Andy. Show him. Bring it up. Today is the anniversary of Carmelo Anthony dropping 62. Don't get any big ideas, Melo.
I was there.
I was there too. I got the jersey from that day, bro. But since he didn't cut me a check for that, I didn't buy a jersey, and he never scored 62 again.
Yeah. Don't get any big ideas, Melo. No 62 tonight. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't get them. Save it for another night. But yeah, the Blazers. They're down men. Nurkic is out. He underwent surgery, I think today or yesterday, to repair a fracture in his right wrist. And he'll be reevaluated in 6 weeks. Or actually, I guess that was Tuesday. CJ McCollum, he was diagnosed with a small hairline fracture and a sprain in his left foot. He'll be reevaluated in 4 weeks, but he's also out. And that's two of their top players right there, who are out, which means, Damian Lillard, he's gonna likely be laser focused, and entering the playoff mode early. You know what I mean? He kind of has to enter the playoff mode early. Now, the thing with the Blazers, they haven't played since last Monday. They haven't played since the 18th. They've been off for a week because of, injury. I mean, not injuries, because of COVID-19 protocols with other teams. Teams not being able to play, games being postponed. So they're rested. They're well rested. Maybe they have a little bit of rust to knock off, but they're well rested. The Knicks, of course, are playing. They just played 4 games in 6 nights. Now they're on 3 games in 4 nights. The Knicks will get a rest going into next week after they play. I think they play Tuesday. Then they get a rest until Friday, so they get a few days off to rest their legs. But they're in the midst of a rough stretch right now. Playing good teams on the road, and playing night after night after night. So while they did get a day to rest, they're not going to be as fresh as the Portland Trailblazers, and I'm hoping that doesn't come into play. That's not a factor, because I truly believe that was a factor against the Sacramento Kings. That game, that was the 4th game in 6 nights on a back-to-back. Plus they had travel from East to West Coast in there. You know what I mean? So I think the Knicks were sluggish. They were tired, sluggish. Their legs were heavy. Hopefully they got enough rest so that they can come out and be able to compete at a high level. I think they know it. They talked about it after, during the post-game interviews. And I'm looking forward to them coming out with the right energy tonight. But I'm still scared of Damian Lillard and dealing with him now. He's not as quick as De'Aaron Fox. He plays a different kind of game. I'm looking forward to Elfrid Payton picking him up. 92 feet, 94 feet, however long the NBA court is, right? Picking him up 92 feet. Don't let him, get those long threes off. Force him to play, force him to have to go to the basket and then see if you can pinch in and make him have to kick it out. See if they got guys that can knock it down right now. CJ McCollum's not there, so they're depending on Rodney Hood. Let me see. They're depending on Rodney Hood. They're depending on, who else are they depending on? Jones Jr., Robert Covington. I think Robert Covington can knock it down.
Gary Trent.
Gary Trent. Right. So, they got some guys that can knock it down, but, I don't know if there's some guys out there that you really fear right now. You know what I mean? Rodney Hood, he can play. Rodney Hood, I like Rodney Hood actually, but I like to see Elfrid Payton, pick Dame up 94 feet 92 feet, 94 feet, whatever it is, and force him to have to get in the lane and see if other guys can make some plays when he kicks it out. You know what I mean? Andy, I don't know. What do you think about this game and how we need to approach this game?
Yeah, I was talking, before the show with you. Two things I would add to what you said. With the Knicks luck, we got to worry about Enes Kanter because he can have a revenge game on us. He loved being a Knick, and I think, he might want to get at least a double-double, and, his rebounding on the offensive end, it was really good. That means, our big men got to, take care of the boards. And also about the scouting report, they didn't play for a week before the injury of CJ McCollum. After the injury of CJ McCollum, they only played one game. So the coach responsible for scouting the Blazers didn't have that many material, and video material to see what kind of game they are trying to play without those main guys, right? So it's still at least one game that he had. But it's still a hard task to prepare for a team that you basically don't know what they can do. And they had a week off so they could implement new plays for another rotations. So that's going to be a hard game. And sometimes these kind of games are really hard because you don't know what those coaches are going to, plan up for you. So
right. Exactly. Because the game, everything changes now. Any tape that you had, material that you had, everything just changes. You know what I'm saying?
Aren't the Knicks doing the same thing anyway, regardless of who they play? Like, do you see a lot of
at least on
defensive adjustments? Sometimes, if they'll double team or what have you.
I mean, like for example, some things like, you might. I don't know how long ago they started looking at this game, but maybe they had a light plan of say, hey, we're going to try to trap Damian, or we're going to play Damian Lillard straight up, right? Because CJ McCollum is there and he can hurt us from the guards spot too. Now you might say, hey, let's try to trap him a little bit, see what Rodney Hood does. You know what I mean? So there may be some things like that. And then, what they're going to do offensively is going to be different. They're hot, a heavy one-on-one team. They may go a little bit more towards passing now. You know what I mean? So, I guess, I think defensively is where your schemes are going to be. Maybe not offensively, but defensively at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It should be an easier task for Mitchell Robinson, I think. You got Enes Kanter down there. He's a big guy. He can rebound and he can post up. But the Knicks should try to exploit that pick and roll defense. If he's still the same defender that he was when he was with the Knicks, you know what I mean? They should be able to exploit that pick and roll defense a little bit and get some easy buckets for Mitch at the basket.
Yeah, and just to add that, we played really good versus guys that were playing ISO on offense, right? So, because it's easier to plan the defense. And we played really good, like versus Milwaukee. We were thinking that, the second, line of Milwaukee is going to kill us. Meanwhile, we stopped Giannis basically, and, they didn't have anything else. So I think, keeping Dame, at least, game planning versus him now is going to be way easier than when they had CJ and even Nurkic.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Steph. My bad.
Any concern about Mitch and Kanter getting second shots? I mean, Kanter's a pretty good offensive rebounder.
Yeah, he's an excellent offensive rebounder, and that's definitely something that I think we should be, the Knicks should pay attention to, right? Enes Kanter averages 9.3 rebounds per game right now, and he just I don't know, how long has he been in that starting position since Nurkic has been out?
Maybe 3 games.
Two, 3 games,
something like that.
Yeah.
Those rebounding numbers will probably come up a little bit more because he's an excellent rebounder, and Mitch is going to have to be on his game. Mitch and Randle, they're going to have to be on their game to make sure that they're, grabbing boards and don't let, Enes Kanter have one of those 20 rebound games that we know he can do. We've seen him do it with the Knicks. We don't want him to do that. Mitch is just way more athletic than Enes Kanter, and he should be able to, find his way to the basket, score some buckets, off the alley-oop, off the pick and roll, and use his length, because Kanter is not really athletic, but he's a good rebounder because he understands position. He boxes out.
Yep.
Anticipates where the ball is going to be, makes him a really good rebounder. Mitch is definitely going to have to be ready because we don't want to give him a whole bunch of second chance points.
Right.
Looking at the season, talking about those second chance points, right now the Knicks and Portland, they're about tied in second chance points at about 13 per game. Portland scoring 37 points in the paint. The Knicks at 47.5. Of course, Portland, they average 15.4 fast break points per game. The Knicks only 7.1. I doubt this is going to be the game that we all of a sudden get out and run unless we get a lot of steals.
We've been doing it a lot lately, though, Sam. We've been trying to push the ball up the floor a little bit more.
A little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit better. Like you see them, we get the rebound, the guards get that deep rebound, and just throw it up on that pass. Just throw it up the court, and then try to get some easy opportunities that way. It's been happening more often lately.
Yeah, especially in Golden State, I saw it.
Yeah. Right. And if we just got to start making it easier for us and get some guys that can get in those passing lanes and, tip the ball out, get a couple steals so we can get out in the open court. If we can make it just a little bit easier in that way, but, we don't get a lot of steals. We average 6.6 steals per game. It seems like every team averages more steals than us per game. And it helps to fuel their fast break. The Trailblazers, they average 115 points per game, so it's another high-scoring team that we got to try to hold down to about, 10 below their average, which we've been able to do. Yep. Even with the Kings. The Kings came in averaging 113. We held them to 103. We just couldn't score. Right? The Knicks were averaging 101.3. We grab about 47 rebounds a game. They grab about 44. Both teams are around 21 to 22 assists per game. Like I said, the Knicks are 6.6 steals. The Blazers are 8.4. Both teams around 5 blocks. And the Knicks average 13.5 turnovers, while the Blazers are at 11.4. They both shoot around 44% from the field. The Blazers are 37% from the three-point line, while the Knicks are 34.4. The Blazers shoot 81% from the free throw line, and the Knicks are shooting 74.6% from the free throw line. Of course, they're led by Damian Lillard in scoring at 28.1. And that's Kanter in rebounding at 9.3, and Lillard in assists at 6.7. Derrick Jones Jr. leads him in blocks at just under 1 per game. So we should be able to get to the rim. With Kanter and Derrick Jones not really a shot blocker, we should be able to get to the rim and score at the rim. Mitchell Robinson, he leads us in blocks at 1.76. And then, of course, Julius Randle leads us in assists and rebounds. We should be able to dominate the paint today. I think we should be able to. We'll see if we actually can. You know what I'm saying? We'll see if we actually can. Looking at the lineups, you got Payton and Damian Lillard. Alec Burks looks like he's going to start today against Rodney Hood. We're going to go over the Knicks injury list. Reggie Bullock and Derrick Jones Jr., Julius Randle, Robert Covington, and then Mitchell Robinson and as Kanter. And, of course, you got Melo coming off the bench. So, he's obviously going to be a factor, in this game. And then the Knicks injury report, Reggie Bullock, he's doubtful for tonight with a sore neck. Frank Ntilikina looks like he's out, or he's questionable. He's not out, he's questionable. Likely won't play. And then Austin Rivers is day-to-day. Questionable for tonight's game with an Achilles.
Surprised the Knicks might be going with Burks at the 2 guard. I thought they might, try to mix it up a little bit. I know Rivers is out and Bullock is probably going to be out, but maybe they could have moved Kevin Knox to the starting lineup as the 3 and move RJ back down to the 2. That's something they could have done just to keep Burks on the bench to get that scoring.
Yeah, now this is projected. We'll see what happens when, during game time. This is just projected that it's going to be Alec Burks. I think it's probably going to be Burks, but, you never know. I'd like to see Knox get into that starting lineup. Burks hasn't even been here. Obviously, Burks can contribute. I think he had he didn't do much last game. His first game back, he had about 11. You know what I mean?
So he hasn't done much since he's been back. He hasn't really, not the same Burks before his injury.
Right. So, obviously it's only been 2 games, so maybe he needs a little bit of time to get his rhythm back, get his endurance for the game back. I didn't think that he was going to continue to average 20 points per game for the entire season. I think he'll probably level off around 15, somewhere around there. Devon, what do you think, man? Do you like the fact that it's probably going to be Alec Burks in that starting lineup, or would you rather see Knox in there?
Yeah, real quick, if you're in the chat, smack that like button if y'all in there. If you're chatting, you should be smacking. I prefer to see Knox because of the height, but I can understand why I'm putting Burke in there because he like going with experience. And I just think that the Knicks really should go, like you said, I went to the second year motion about Mitchell Robinson. Julius Randle should be eating them dudes in the paint. They more high jumpers than bangers. So I think Julius Randle really should have a good game inside the paint tonight because Derrick Jones Jr., he's not big. He just can jump high. But hopefully he'll get to use him down in the paint. But, yeah, I would prefer to see Knox, but I understand why they put in Burks in there because, he's a veteran, he's experienced. And so I'm all cool with it. But like Josh said, I'd love to see Knox in there, man. I thought that would have been nice tonight.
Yeah, I think it would have been nice tonight, too, if we could see Knox in there. But, Burke, like you said, Burks has some more experience. He also can shoot the basketball, too. You know what I mean? And do you think if Burks comes out and plays well with this starting lineup and the offense looks good, do you think Tibbs said, just goes ahead and, he says, hey, yeah, we're going to go ahead and start Burks. And the reason why I asked that is because Quickley plays different with Burks on the floor. If you look at the last 2 games with Burks out there, Quickley, he deferred to him, and Burks was a little bit more ISO heavy. You know what I'm saying? And Quickley, in my opinion, wasn't able to get the same shots off that he normally would. The floor wasn't as wide open. And while I thought that the floor would have been more wide open with Burks out there because he can shoot a little bit, he is kind of an ISO guy, just a little bit. And I think it takes away from Quickley's game. That second unit, looking at things now as we're getting to know this team, it may look a little bit better with Reggie Bullock playing with Emmanuel Quickley because Reggie Bullock isn't as ISO heavy as Burks, and he can, he still can shoot
back there too. Yeah,
and he's a defense player where we need some of that defensive ruggedness with that second unit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. What do you think, Prince?
Especially tonight, I think it would be a good look for Knox to see how he fits with the first unit. But I think this unit, I really like it though, because again, this is, if you really look on paper, this is probably the best unit, that we truly have with Burks at the 2. But again, Knox and RJ, that's something that prayerfully is the future anyway. So again, I would love to see those guys start really getting some continuity together in that starting rotation. But again, tonight, I think it would be beneficial because Derrick Jones isn't too much of a shooter. He's a slasher, rebounder, scrappy type of player. He's not, nobody that we would worry about Knox, having to really lose on defense. But again, I like that lineup. It does worry me, much like I think Divine had alluded to earlier, or no, I mean, it might have been Uncle Fulio who had said something about the second unit not having that extra scorer. So I am a little worried about that. But so is the issue, is Bullock's hurt or is he just not playing?
No, he's hurt. He's got a little bit of an injury. But the second unit, see, I felt like they scored better when Burks wasn't there, to be honest with you. It looked better to me when Austin Rivers was with the second unit. So tonight, if Burks starts, I don't know who steps up, if anybody steps up into Burks' spot. He'll probably just go with a 9-man rotation. You know what I mean? Instead of going deeper into a 10-man rotation. I doubt he brings anybody up to play. So we'll see how that second unit looks.
Hey, I'm just joining. Is Rivers or my boy? Are they out?
Frank's not playing. Frank's not playing. He's questionable. Frank is questionable. He's slowly moving up. He's slowly moving up. He's questionable.
Moving on up.
All right.
To the east side.
Right.
Maybe that'd be okay.
And Austin Rivers is questionable. So I don't think that either one of those guys are gonna play.
Questionable's 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Frank probably be back at the homestand when he get back off the road. That's when Frank probably make his season come back.
Right. So Quickley, Quickley might have a good game tonight with Burks not being. If Burks is starting, Quickley might have a good game tonight.
And more opportunities for Obi too with Quickley.
Yep. More opportunities for Obi with Burks in that starting lineup. Yeah, way more opportunities for Obi and for Quickley. So that could look nice. And Thibodeau might, I don't know. Thibodeau values defense, and Reggie Bullock is a better defender than Burks. But down the stretch of that game, it was Burks in the game over Reggie Bullock.
Sim, can I say something?
Yeah.
Sorry. So like every time the Knicks come up in this situation where we try to figure out who's going to be in the starting lineup because one player might be hurt, or you were alluding at it earlier in the year, or a couple games ago, like the Knicks never seem to like really that player who's supposed to be injured normally comes back to play. We've never been in this type of situation where both Bullock and Rivers are out at the same time, and now we have to figure out who we're going to plug in that 2 spot. So if both of those guys are out, it's really going to be interesting to see what Thibodeau does with the starting lineup and the type of change that he's going to implement in there, because that can set the precedent for how the Knicks are going to proceed forward, for the remainder of the season. So this is, if both of those guys are out, both Bullock and Rivers, then this is a new thing for Tom Thibodeau, a new thing for the team to do to try to figure out what they're going to do.
Right. And it always I'm telling you, this is by design. It always happens that somebody goes out. When someone comes back, somebody goes out, and we'll probably see this for the remainder of the year, to be honest with you.
Do you think it's by design?
Yes, I do think it's by design. I think it's by design. I think it's by design.
Conspiracy.
It's happening too often. Every time somebody comes back, somebody else goes out, and then somebody else is ready to play. I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden one of these guys is ready to play, or you've seen a Dennis Smith Jr. sighting. Right?
I don't know. That is digging deep. Yeah, man. Because he's been getting crumbs. He's been getting crumbs pretty much.
I know. I mean, I'm just saying, every single time somebody comes back, somebody else gets hurt. And it's always this rotation of guards, right? And it's like this. When Obi came back, Kevin Knox didn't all of a sudden get hurt, or Julius Randle didn't all of a sudden get hurt, right? Because that rotation is fine, kind of. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of cool with that rotation. You get it. But with the guards, it's all over the place. The only guard that hasn't gotten hurt is Elfrid Payton. He's usually the guy that gets hurt. He's the only guy that has not gotten hurt. Right? Probably because they're not confident that somebody else can come in and play that position full time. Right? But they're still trying to figure out that shooting guard position and that bench rotation with the shooting guards and stuff like that. Now that's the way that I see it.
Yeah, so his injury must have been really legit last year in the beginning of the season. When you think about it.
Yeah, and it's easier to play a guy 30 minutes when you don't have someone down the bench. When you look down the bench, you're like, oh, I need to get Austin Rivers in here, or I need to get Reggie Bullock in here, or Burks in here, right? So it's easier to just go ahead and play your guys when you don't have to look down the bench and worry about them other guys. You know what I mean? Where if you have Reggie Bullock, Austin Rivers, and Burks, which I don't think they've all been healthy at the same time this season, you look down and you got all three of those guys. Now you got to figure out which one am I putting into the game. Right? I only want to play 10. Which one am I playing tonight? Or am I going to go 11? So when you got one or two of those guys out, it just makes it easy.
So who you think gonna be the next injured one when Frank don't come back next week? Elfrid Payton.
Fans are hoping that. The fans are hoping it's Elfrid.
Right.
Yeah. The fans are definitely hoping it's Elfrid Payton.
Right.
Listen.
I don't know if Frank would perform better than Alfred though.
Not maybe from a shooting standpoint, but not in defense.
Not playmaking either. I don't know.
And I don't want to disappoint the fans. I don't want to disappoint you guys. But if Elfrid Payton gets hurt, Austin Rivers is probably going to be the lead guard, and Emmanuel Quickley is still going to come off the bench.
Yes, he is.
And I know people are probably mad, but that's the way. I think that's the way it's going to go.
Yes,
or if my boy is healthy enough, he might do it. You can't leave nothing up to chance.
He's coming off the bench too.
He's coming off the bench too.
Yeah, hey, that's my boy too, Kev. But I'm just being honest, man. When he comes back, he's gonna be hoping to get off the bench, man. He's gonna be hoping to get off the bench. I want him to get off the bench, but he's gonna be hoping to get off the bench. Even if somebody gets hurt. But yeah, if Elfrid Payton does go out, I think it will be Austin Rivers who jumps into that spot. And then, Quickley, will remain on the bench. And I think it's good, though. Right? I think it's good. It's okay. He's getting comfortable in that role. Why shake it up and say, okay, now you're going to start right now? Let him get comfortable and work his way into that role. Just let it be. It's all right. Austin Rivers is used to going back and forth, and he's done it throughout his career. Sometimes he has to start. Most times he's on the bench. Sometimes he has to start. Just let Quickley get comfortable, be in his role, understand what it is that he has to do. His time will come. There's no doubt about it. His time is going to come. Where he's going to be asked to start at some time or another. Whether it's full time or because somebody's injured, his time will definitely come. So he'll get his chance though. He'll get his chance to play against Damian Lillard tonight. Right? Normally he comes in about 4 or 5 minutes. Lillard probably won't go out until 2 minutes left in that first quarter. So he'll get a couple of minutes to play against Damian Lillard. How do you think he'll fare against Damian Lillard tonight, Josh?
I think he'll do well. I think he'll do really well against Damian Lillard. Like you guys said, Portland plays this isolation style of basketball, and they really don't move the ball as much as other teams do. I think for the defensively period for the Knicks, it shouldn't be that much of a problem unless Damian Lillard just goes crazy and goes out the gym. But outside of that, I really don't see it being a problem. I think it's going to be business as usual as far as defense is concerned for the Knicks.
Yeah, Quick had a good game the last game, had 3 blocks. He was playing some defense against Sacramento. Boy, he was in it the other night. And I was like, whoa, look at Quickley, like 3 blocks, and he stepped up the other night. So hopefully
our point guard play has been really good as of late, the past 4 games or so. And it's Payton and it's Quickley. It's both of those guys, but really Elfrid Payton. Elfrid Payton's been playing really well. He's not getting the credit that he deserves from Knicks fans. Obviously, they hate him. They look for someone to hate. But I think the Knicks shouldn't have a problem with defending Damian Lillard unless he just goes crazy out the gym. So,
right.
Really?
Go ahead, Steph. Go ahead, Steph.
I think Dame is a problem.
Curry was a problem too.
Yeah, he was. But listen, when I watched that game, I didn't think Elfrid Payton was that played great defense against Fox.
I mean, it was the best he can do given the situation. I mean, no one's going to stop these guys. No one's going to stop these guys from scoring, doing their thing and scoring. But, considering relative to, the performances that we've seen these guys have, like Fox and Steph Curry, we know these guys can go crazy. They could, went for 50 or 60. They can, on any given night, they can do that. For us holding them down and getting them uncomfortable a little bit, I think that says a lot about who we have at the point guard position. I know it's not what Knicks fans want to hear, but given the circumstances, I like the way our point guards have performed past couple games.
I mean, I think, that against De'Aaron Fox in that first quarter, the speed, not that Elfrid Payton doesn't understand know that Fox has speed, but, when you the first time you play against that kind of speed, it might shock you and surprise you a little bit. So I think that in that first quarter, at least, definitely in that first quarter, De'Aaron Fox really had his way. After that, I think the team made a conscious decision to really help out and stop Fox from being able to get in the paint and knock down that floater or knock down a little mid-range jump shot. Then he started kicking it out, and then they started knocking it down from three. I think Elfrid Payton did what he could. It's hard to guard De'Aaron Fox. I think it's easier to guard Steph Curry than it is to guard De'Aaron Fox.
Wow.
Right? And the reason why I say that is because with Steph Curry, you got to chase him off screens, right? And that's tough. It is, right? But you can get, he's kind of the primary ball handler, but he does a lot of running around while somebody else is looking to try to get him the ball. With De'Aaron Fox, you got to stay in front of him. And that, to me, it's tougher to stay in front of somebody than chase him around screens. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're good at, fighting over screens and, being able to stay close to someone, then, you can work a little bit, right?
Frank can stay with him. Frank can stay with him.
Can stay in front of De'Aaron Fox?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's been said. It's been Andy. Can you attest to that?
Listen. I've seen Frank play really great defense at a bunch of guards. I don't remember specifically De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
I think he bothered. I remember that game. He definitely bothered Fox that game. I don't know if he shut him down as much as I've seen Frank shut other guards down.
Mm-hmm.
Because he definitely bothered De'Aaron that game.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Wingspan makes it tough on a lot of them.
And that was the problem. De'Aaron still, caught him slipping a couple times, but, it's not as easy to blow by Frank, when he's one defensively IQ and then his wingspan is ridiculous. So, but again, we ain't talking about Frank right now. He's still on the bench. So.
Yeah. And I see Anthony D.
But when he does come back, we got to talk about him. Right or wrong.
Look.
He's gonna come back for a playoff
in
run.
proportion to how much he plays.
It's gonna be a playoff run. We'll be back. We'll be running for a playoff. We'll be
exactly. Kev, we gotta stick to the story where Tibbs is holding out Frank for the playoffs.
Hey, Andy, you got me in trouble today, so I ain't even talking to you. We'll talk about that later. But
and look, I see Anthony Dunbar say, I'm crazy for saying it's harder to guard De'Aaron Fox. I'm just speaking from my experience. I would rather chase a person than have to stay in front of somebody super quick, because I played a bit against both guards. And I guess for me, I've done better when I had to chase somebody, be close to them, up in their chest, and then run around and offer screens than when I got a super duper quick guard in front of me and I got to try to stay in front of that guy, then he can stop on a dime and pull it up.
And blast.
So what you're saying is, like, if you had to guard Steph, you know how many screens is set for Steph.
Mm-hmm.
You'd rather do that instead of having to be in front of De'Aaron Fox?
I would.
Is that what you're saying?
I would. Yeah. I'd rather chase somebody than have to stay in front of the fastest guy in the league.
Okay.
Because it's so hard. It is so hard to stay in front of these guards, especially when you're playing against a guard that is just about indefensible with his speed. You know what I mean? It's almost impossible to stay in front of that guy. Yeah. Without having that extra help. And I'm not saying it's easy to chase a guy around off screens and stuff like that. That's not easy either. You know what I mean? That's tough. It's just I would rather chase a guy around screens and fight over screens. You know what I mean? Because it's something that I feel like I'm good at least. Fighting over screens, fighting through screens. Anticipating where a guy is going to be. Being able to kind of be like a linebacker and watch where they're going and stay with them as they're moving and trying to shake and all that kind of stuff. But a guy like De'Aaron Fox, he don't even use a lot of dribbles. It's just boop, 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 change the speed, boom. And like the control that he has over his speed is impressive to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He come down 1 second, he's walking, he goes and explodes and then pulls back and then explodes again. And that's very, very tough to guard. And then pulls up on you, right? And all of that change of direction is tough. You know what I'm saying? It's really tough to deal with. You know what I mean?
That's what really I was going to just allude to was that, Sim, is like just what you said. His ball handling and, like you said, his breakneck speed and the way that he can change directions and do things with his speed that you can't do as a defender, and the fact that I can't touch you to, hand check you as a defender, there's nothing you can do to stop a guy that fast and with the control of a ball like that. He's like Kyrie, but he dribbles less, like Sim was just saying. But the thing is, he can dribble the ball that good, but it's just the thing is he's just that smart of a guard. So right. I like he's saying, he would kill you or get you in, foul trouble trying to guard him. Rather than Steph, you can fight over those screens and, people can help and close out where, that's easier than trying to stay in front of someone for 48 minutes or, like you won't Cornerstone.
Well, I think it's also
you're a mess.
I think it's also the way both of those teams play, right? So Golden State, they do a lot of moving without the basketball. Their passing is just on the money, on point. So Steph Curry wouldn't necessarily have to break someone down and try to get past them, as much as say a De'Aaron Fox would. But Steph Curry still can do that, and he's still the greatest shooter in NBA history. Right. So you still have to guard that. And he moves constantly moving without the basketball. I mean, for me, I would rather guard someone like De'Aaron Fox, that one-on-one style, because then it's mano a mano at that point.
You would tie it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Tie it out. Or take a chance of getting injured because you're trying to fight over a screen.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, man.
So for me, I think Curry is definitely the tougher, guard at that point. I mean, the toughest person to guard out of those two, just because of the moving without the basketball, the constant.
Listen, I have no argument. I have no argument, and people in the chat that's trying to say this and that, I have no argument with anyone who would say Curry is tougher to guard. I'm talking about my personal preference, right. And the way, the experience that I've had guarding, guards that play in both those styles of basketball. You know what I'm saying? And the success that I've had, in doing that. I just know it's so tough to be mano on mano on someone who has that kind of speed and can change directions in that way. It's it's impossible to guard. It's a tough deal.
And if you don't do a good job, now they in the lane, they getting your big people in foul trouble. Shoes are on. It's a nightmare.
It could be a nightmare with those guys. And this is not to say I see people say, "Oh, Steph Curry is better than Fox." It's not about if one guy is better than another.
We talking about it's the play in the defensive style. Like Uncle Fulio said, like if you ever, if some of y'all, I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the chat done watch, if you watch the Rip Hamilton or Reggie Miller, those guys, trust me, you, like Sim said, both jobs is terribly hard. Like if you got a gun to your head, you don't want to do either job. But again, if you say which one would I rather do, I would rather not be on an island with somebody with breakneck speed and who could kill me at the drop of a dime rather than fighting over a couple of screens and still being able to recover and close out on a shooter or, get back on defense. It's a different style of what we're talking about of playing defense. Not saying De'Aaron Fox is necessarily 100% better than
right. Just like Kobe said, Carmelo Anthony was the toughest person he had to guard. He's not the best person he had to guard, but for Kobe, Carmelo was the best person, the toughest person he had to guard. You know what I mean? Yep. Elfrid Payton's, you're looking at this stretch, man. He's playing against. He's got to defend the elite guards in the NBA.
And he's been doing a decent job.
He's doing a really decent job.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, real quick with Elfrid Payton, I'm so angry because I can't find the tweet that Tommy D had put out. When Elfrid Payton scores in double digits,
that was all in Han. That was
Alan Hahn? Okay. All right. What was it then?
Then when Elfrid Payton makes 5 buckets or more, that means around 10 or more points, we win like 9 games and lose 1 only.
Wow.
But that we tweet would you can take it like I we tweeted him back. Just let Elfrid Payton shoot like 30 times. He's gonna make 10 points. We're gonna see if we're gonna win that game. That's not the only cause, bro. That if Elfrid's gonna hit 10 points, we're gonna win the game. So that's BS thing.
But it's something to think about. It's something to truly
because
his contribution. It ain't really, if he can, like you said, Andy, if he could do that, give us 3 shots and still pull off 10 points, that gives us a chance to win. Because Julius is going to give us his 25. RJ is going to give his 20. Like I said, that puts us at 65, 70 points. Right there.
Yeah. So that means so that means if Elfrid Payton pulled off 3 shots and still scored at least 10, that means he went to the line.
Right.
That means he's going to the line. He's creating contact and getting to the line.
Because on Friday, what was him and Reggie Bullock combined for?
Yeah, they were.
Bullock was
terrible. Really bad.
Yeah. The reason why we were able to come off so much against Golden State was because Reggie Bullock was hitting shots in the beginning. I mean, he was really, he was 4 for 4 at
the beginning.
Yeah.
And then,
And did he even take a shot? I don't even think he took a shot.
I didn't see that, man. I didn't see that either the other night. He didn't even take a shot, it seemed like to me.
Yeah. Did you see him take a shot?
Who, Reggie Bullock?
Reggie Bullock.
Yeah, Reggie Bullock.
I think he took I think he took 3 shots. I think he took 3 shots.
He did?
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know
he took 3 shots.
He was getting ready to. It seemed like he was always passing it off. So.
Unless that neck really was playing a role, that's why he out today. But maybe that neck might have been acting.
Maybe.
I know that Bullock has a Twitter account, and he was probably looking not to be called a chucker, so he passed up those shots. He was like, I'm not going to go 0-4 or 5.
What do you think about that student and teacher matchup tonight with Melo at the 4 with Obi? That's going to be student and teacher tonight, buddy.
Oh man. I mean, yeah. Listen, Obi's gonna learn something. You talk about footwork and playing in mid range. Obi's not really a mid range type of guy, at least not right now. He's gonna learn a little something.
Absolutely,
gonna see a little something. You know what I mean? Hopefully RJ's watching. But listen, I've seen RJ start to catch the ball and jab step a little bit, jab step, pull up.
But that let's be true. That jab step is like RJ could look at my tape and do that kind of jab step. Melo has a jab step. That was like,
you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere, though, right? You got to start.
It was terrible.
Andy, you too feisty, man. Andy, you too feisty, man.
And it worked. He jab step. I mean, there weren't Melo jab steps, but or KD jab steps, but he jab step, pulled it up.
I have a better jab step when I'm jab stepping, in the store for grabbing the.
Hey, y'all better leave my man RJ alone, man.
Keeping it real, bro. Andy, keeping it real.
And people were like, RJ looking at Melo. I'm like, then you must not be looking at Melo that I saw. Because Melo has one of the smoothest offensive games. That jab.
RJ's been looking more comfortable, though. He's been looking a lot more comfortable, into his spots. Like, his shot is falling, the way it's falling, how it's through. It looks really, really good. He looks much more comfortable than he did at the beginning of the season.
There was a shot
he pulled. Josh, he heard your words.
There was a shot that he pulled against Sacramento where they kicked it out to him, and he could have easily taken the shot, right? I think he was still mid-range. It was still a mid-range shot for him, but he was a little farther from the basket. He caught it. He could have taken it. Instead, he took 2 dribbles to the elbow, pulled it up, knocked it down. Right. Again, just another instance where someone has told him you shoot a high percentage from these areas. You need to shoot the ball from these areas. Somebody needs to tell Elfrid Payton that as well, right? Because when you do a breakdown chart of where his highest percentage shots, Elfrid Payton shoots like 54% from 5 feet or closer to the basket, and then his next best range. And then the next range is like, I don't know,
6 to 10 or something like that.
10 and in or something like that. He's 45%, but then there's a range that's like where he's like 6 to 10 feet or something like that, where he shoots 60% from that area, right? And it's like, and then everything else is like 20%, 30%. Someone needs to show him his shot charts and say, hey, this is where you shoot well. Shoot from these areas. You know what I'm saying? But it's clear that they've done that with RJ.
That's the coaching staff.
Is that floater, Sim? I wonder, is that his floater? That little floater, little shot that he shoots. I wonder, is that shot?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. Look it up and see. I'll look that up now. But in the meantime, fadeaway floater he always shoots, right there near the basket when he can't get near. When he can't get his layup, he usually shoot that little 1 foot floater.
Pretty good. In Sacramento, he was shooting that floater pretty nice. And
that's what I'm thinking. That's that shot that Sim talking about. I think that's that shot.
How do you want to guard Damian Lillard tonight? I'm gonna start with you, Andy, while I'm getting these numbers from Elfrid Payton. The best way. I want to put some pressure on him. I want to put some pressure on him going full court, so that we're not, giving up those crazy threes.
I would also try to, like you said, also try to, accept of picking him up full court and making him tired. Their reserve point guard is I think a deep, downgrade from Dame, right? So I would try to get Dame tired. And also if I'm Elfrid Payton, I'm going at Dame to the paint like he does, because he might catch him sleeping. Their big man ain't gonna help Dame, so he knows that, and he's gonna try to at least stop Elfrid. And we might get a call or two, in the favor of the Knicks while being aggressive with the game. So, that's a good thing. But, except that, I think the big man got to step up on the screens. I'd rather get hurt by, their big man, getting into the paint than, letting Dame shoot. And, also, if I remember correctly, last couple of games, we were really afraid of Dame Lillard, and he didn't pan out that he didn't have that great of the games versus the Knicks. Right. Yeah. So I think we know how to play at least and rough him up a little bit. I think he might be off the he might not make those shots that he regularly makes. And we don't know if he's even going to play. He had those twins. I'm guessing if his baby mama is going to want him to stay home, maybe he's going to have to put the kids to bed.
Hey, you know what?
You know how cats be, man.
Look, they just had twins. He better go make that money.
That's exactly what you know. Cats can't wait to go play, boy.
Just had twins. I mean, now Damian Lillard got money, but still.
I know. Last year when we went to Portland, they blitzed us, but when they came to the Garden, when they were at full strength, we were able to handle them. Greatly. So and like with McCollum being out, I think that's going to be a huge help for us as well. So, but again, we can't take him lightly.
No, of course not. But I'm putting some pressure on him, make him have to work,
and going at him,
make him have to work. Because he's gonna be he's gonna have to drop every night while McCollum is out, while Nurkic is out. He's gonna have to drop 30 to 35 points a night. You know what I mean? So if you can make him work on the defensive end, if you can make it hard for him to, get the ball up, make it hard to get these shots off. Of course, they're going to set screens, you know what I'm saying? But make him have to work for it. Right. Those numbers on Elfrid Payton. So less than 5 feet from the basket, Payton is 52.7% from the field, less than 5 feet.
Okay.
All right, 5 to 9 feet, he's 47.6%. Here's the crazy thing. 10 to 14 feet, he shoots 17%. 17%, 10 to 14%. But 15 to 19, he shoots 63.6%.
Wow.
Yeah, because those are like regular shots that he's taking, not those fall away, from 10 to 14 feet. Those 10 from 14 feet are really those that he drives into the paint and then goes, back and takes that, step back shot. That's a bad shot for Payton.
Okay.
Right. So those 15 to 19, I guess, are pull-ups.
Yeah.
Right.
Straight up pull-ups, with balance and stuff.
Right.
You can see that.
Right. And that's his highest percentage. That 15 to 19, he shoots 63%. When he goes from 20 to 24 feet, it's 27%. 25 to 29 feet is 29%. So he should, people should talk to him a little bit more about shooting in that 15 to 19 feet range. Now, but even though I say that, he shot that's the least amount of attempts that he's made, right? He's made 11 attempts from that range, but he's shooting the highest percentage. The most, of course, is less than 5 feet from the basket. He's taken 93 of those attempts, and he's shooting just about 53% from there. So, look, Elfrid Payton can get to the basket. We want Quickley and Payton to put pressure on Damian Lillard. As much as Quickley is playing against Damian Lillard, when he's in the game, set some screens on Lillard, let Quickley go in there, shoot that floater. You know what I'm saying? Make Dame have to work for it. Make him tired. He's going to have fresh legs tonight, so make him have to use them.
Hey, let me ask y'all something. I've only seen Quickley take it once to throw it down. Has anybody else seen him do it, taking it to the basket other than, that time, other than just shooting the floater?
Too little, too small.
Too small right now.
Yeah, I mean, he can dunk in space, but, he's not the kind of player that's going to go in and just try to dunk on you like that. He's not that kind of a player. I'm happy with the floater. I don't need him to dunk it. We don't need him to get hurt. Just let him knock down that floater, knock down a couple of threes. I'm cool with that. I don't need him to dunk it.
We've seen Payton take it to the rack and slam it, though.
Yeah,
a few times.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Josh. That's why I was asking that.
I think because he's a little light in the behind too, though. He's a light kid. So he's a slim dude. So he can get up there, but going up against some of them cats, he get banged in the body, be have another hip injury.
So Divine, what would you like to see in the off seasons? What would you like to see him? What kind of pounds would you like to see him add?
Muscle mass, 5-10 pounds. It's a little bit of progression, not too much, because sometimes the heavier you get, the slower you get, and quickly is quickly. So I'd like to see him put on maybe 10 pounds of muscle mass. That way he can take them 3-point. When you're going in the lane, somebody hit you, you still can get your shot up and get an and one. But I don't want to see him get too crazy. You know what I mean? Right. So maybe 10 pounds of muscle mass would be nice for him.
Okay.
Yeah. Any worry about Melo?
No. Yeah.
I'm worried about him.
Me too. Yeah, Melo and Kanter.
Melo and Kanter.
They're going to be focused. They're going to be focused tonight.
Oh, man.
Sam, Carmelo Anthony is still he's still a scorer, and he's still a dog. People saying that he's washed up, they absolutely don't know. They don't know what they're talking about. Carmelo Anthony's only making $2.6 million right now. He's at least worth 3 times that contract. At least 3 times that contract right now. And we could have had him on the low, and I'm still mad that the Knicks didn't go out and bring him back because I
he didn't want to come. He said that.
He didn't want to come. He didn't want to come.
He said that.
Man, we could have paid him some money to get him to come here, man. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
He wanted to compete for a ring, yo.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to do that.
I don't want to hear that still.
Listen, I still believe Melo's going to be back in New York.
Melo's still next year. Everything.
I believe he's going to be back in New York. At some point, Melo's going to come back and, to ride off into the sunset.
I'm going to go further, Sim, and I'm going to say that after Melo's career, he's going to be the next Olajuwon. He's going to have those, skill, camps that he's going to evolve these.
Actually, he's already doing that, Andy. He already has I forget what his company's called, but he already got a company that does just that.
Okay. What are you talking about? Black Ops? You talking about Black Ops?
No, the Brickley's.
That's Brickley's.
It's called. Yeah, that's Brickley's, but Melo has his own like low key blacked out camp that he does himself that he does already. So yeah, I forget what it's called, but yeah, it's not the.
I was thinking he only paid for the stickers on the court.
Yeah.
Right.
Ninja Andy strikes again.
Yeah, I feel he was doing that with Michael Porter. What's that? Kevin Porter Jr., the one just went to Houston.
Yeah,
Melo had him in his camp doing this year. Because I see the pictures of him. They took some pictures of the workouts and everything. So
I forget the name of his camp, but he does have a company now that that's what. And I was watching him when he was doing his little wine tasting. He was doing one of them, and he was talking about that's what he plans on doing after basketball is just work young guys out and help them,
Well, I mean, the footwork. I mean, that's the thing about Melo. What made him such a lethal scorer was the footwork. If guys can get that footwork down, everybody wants to work on.
The same with Hakeem.
Same with Hakeem, exactly. Everybody wants to work on all these other skill sets. The footwork is the most important. If you get your footwork down, then you can work on the other parts of your game, but you really need that footwork. And Melo just has, the footwork is just, more than elite. You know what I mean? And
Kobe Bryant.
I mean, the footwork is just crazy. If he has somebody in that mid range with the jab steps and multiple jab steps, and then understanding how a person shifts their body and their weight from one side to another and using that against them, I mean, that's just that's just unstoppable. You know what I mean? That's why RJ needs to work with him over the summer.
They should have called me. I could do it.
I know it's a bit of a moot point, and I know Carmelo Anthony's in Portland now. He seems happy and everything like that. But not just from the basketball standpoint. Carmelo Anthony could have helped his team out. From the basket, people were saying that bringing Carmelo Anthony back hampers the young guys, which is absolutely not true. I never believed that. But also from a culture standpoint, like the Knicks, they have a really good reputation of taking care of their own, but we really don't have that guy. You know what I mean? Outside of Patrick Ewing, we really don't have that player who we can be like, yo, he's one of ours. And I just feel like in order to build the culture along with winning, you have to have that type of organization where players can come back and be like, yo, this is, I had a good time here. I had one of the best moments of my career here, or the best stretches of my career in New York, and ultimately retire his number. I think that will do well for the culture as well, along with winning. That helps build the whole thing that the Knicks want to build.
That's in the future. I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen. But right now, he really just wants to win a ring right now.
He's not winning one in Portland.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. He's not winning it in Portland.
He has a greater. You're absolutely right. Both of y'all are absolutely right that he's not winning one.
And my man, when got hurt, that was my sleeper in the West.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my sleeper in the West. Exactly. With the pieces they added with Covington and Jones, they needed defense, and Melo, and that was my sleeper out there. Them boys when they got hurt, though. I know they want to beat the Lakers, but that was my sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
Gregory Castillo said RJ got that Andy N jab step, so he's good.
I'm still gonna say that my jab step is better than RJ.
Hey, real quick, I want to eliminate this elephant in the room. Sim, you put out a tweet yesterday about Halliburton. I thought he was kind of out of pocket what he was doing, towards us and everything, all because he's upset that we didn't pick him and all like that. I wanted you to elaborate on that.
I mean, I just felt like, it was no reason, for him to first he goes to his press conference, and he's like, basically saying that, he don't have that kind of motivation and all of that. My job is to make those guys, go to sleep at night regretting that they didn't pick me or whatever. However he said, I'm paraphrasing now. Mm-hmm. And then, but then he ends it by saying, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not interested in that. And then he goes out and sends out the tweet, Kermit the Frog sipping tea, but I'm a mind my business.
Which I still can't get to this day.
It's basically saying, oh yeah, I see that happening. I told you so, but I'm gonna mind my business. Basically that's what that tweet is saying. And to me, it's like, yo, you're in Sacramento. You're in a nice situation. You're paying 30 minutes a game. You're having a good rookie season. Just be grateful for that. You know what I'm saying? Why you worried about don't worry about the Knicks.
Exactly.
It wasn't like
6 and 10.
Yeah, I mean, you're having a good season over there. Don't worry about the Knicks. You don't have to. Yeah, to me, it was just, in my opinion, right? And it kind of changes my perception of him. I still think he's an excellent basketball player. Changed my perception a little bit because it felt like it's someone who's looking for a little bit of media attention.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like to me.
It kind of reminded me of Brandon.
19 though, right?
Yeah, he's young. Yeah, he's 19, young kid, dude. So
it reminded me a little bit of Brandon Jennings when we didn't pick Brandon Jennings that draft, and then each year that he played when he was with Milwaukee, that he just wanted to, annihilate us all the time and let us know about it that you didn't pick me and everything. So I'm like,
You got to be careful saying something like that because that was last year's team. Mook Morris would have given an elbow coming down the paint. You got to be careful when you talk stuff like that because you got a long NBA career. So cats remember that stuff, you know what I mean? Or you were talking off last time. Wait till you play again. You come down the lane and go get you.
Exactly.
I mean,
but then, right, you had the chat. You had the chat and people on Twitter talking about how, again, we made the wrong pick and everything. And I'm like, it's only one game. Tell him to do that when he comes to the Garden. You know,
I was saying you should have tweeted at that, Kermit, sipping the tea. How would he feel playing behind Elf?
Right, exactly, right? Because he would be. I mean, the thing is, like, if anybody in recent history could have done that, it would be Donovan Mitchell, right? Because the Knicks were going, but the Knicks were actually deciding, do we want Frank? Do we want Donovan Mitchell? It was kind of between them two guys. They liked both of them. They chose to go with Frank, and then Donovan Mitchell, ends up being, doing what he's doing. If anyone, and he's from New York, so if anyone would have had the right to do that, would have been Donovan Mitchell. He didn't do that.
At all.
Look how big of a person Donovan is, because after, that first game, he praised only Frank. Like he said, this guy is a really good player and stuff like that. He never,
right.
Said anything that, I'm going to put it to the Knicks because they didn't pick us.
Right.
Yeah. So,
I just thought it was, I just thought yesterday was that, out of pocket. You should just played your game. You won the game. You had an impact on the game. Just let it go. Just let it go. Yeah. But they can't. I see you smile, Prince. Talk to me.
Man, like we could be as sour as we want, man. Hey, that dude did what he did, man. Like, forget that. Like, it's a lot of people who think that maybe we should have went with a point guard. Maybe Obi shouldn't be on our team. But that's for another discussion for another day. But like Sim said, it is what it is. You in Sacramento, we chose, and don't cry. We chose.
Exactly.
Again,
you're in a great situation.
But again, just as well, that kid felt that he think he would have loved to be here. I mean, and maybe that's the bigger discussion that we should be having. Is that everybody loves to run the narrative. Nobody wants to be a Knick. Everybody, what I'm saying? Nobody wants to be a Knick. But obviously, you do want to be a Knick. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So again, so all of these people that are, just hurt and feelings in their feelings because again we didn't pick them or we did pick, who we did pick. You know what I'm saying? But again, now we see. People do want to be here. And I maybe that kid did want to be here like Sim. He probably thought he could have been brought a good, a good effect to what we were doing here. He probably had a good interview. He probably felt he might have been the pick. Who knows what they told him in his interview.
Right.
So,
who knows? I know, listen, he was a guy that, I constantly said I thought the Knicks he would be a guy that I thought the Knicks should take. It was between him and Isaac Okoro.
Right. And they went the other way.
And then, after that, lower down my draft was Sadiq Bey. But, of course, I really, really like Sadiq Bey. But I always said if somehow, and I didn't think he was going to drop, but I always said if somehow Obi dropped to 8, I would take Obi. You know what I'm saying? I always thought that he was going to be a good player, but you got the
time. You got to take best player available. The Knicks needed talent, and they went out and they got the best player that was available at the 8 spot.
Yeah. It's like 15 games in the season. It's still too early,
Right.
We only played 3 games.
Exactly.
But to those who are still in the peanut gallery as I am. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to start no fires and no fights. But again, I'm just saying, as we see, Julius is playing like Julius. So again, that's the bigger question of, okay, that's the issue that we have is that we got a guy who you drafted high and he's playing the position of a guy who's playing all-star level basketball. So that's the bigger, that's the question.
We get that, but here's a couple of things. If we would have traded Randle, if we would have traded Randle, I can tell you right now, a lot of these wins that we have, we probably wouldn't be in a position that we are.
That's not even a discussion. That's not even a discussion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I was a proponent of that, but still, even though because again, like they said, Tom Thibodeau put this on Julius soon as he got the job. So obviously, we knew that he put his plan in with Julius then. So they already knew that Julius was going to be here. So again, that was solely, like I keep telling people, that was a CAA, you know what I'm saying, in Leon Rose move. That wasn't a move that, okay, that's the best move for the future. Because if it was the best move for the future, we would have traded down. We would have got more talent for this team. But again, they went what they went with, and we got it. So again, I'm not crying about that, but I'm just looking at the proof of what we see.
No, I get what you're saying. Let me ask you this, though. What if their strategy, in part, is we'll see how things work with Julius Randle, right? Because coming into the season with Julius Randle, my thought was it was either going to be that him and Tom Thibodeau were going to butt heads, or he was going to have the best season of his career. Me and Andy talked about it when we did the Coach's Corner. You can go check it out. It was either going to be they were going to butt heads, or he was going to have the best season of his career. And obviously, he's having the best season of his career right now.
Good call, Sam.
Literally.
And then with Obi, though, what if their thought process was, look, we take the guy that he has the talent. If Julius Randle works out, okay, then we can rock with Julius. If not, then we can go with Obi. We have depth at that position. But then we have a rising star that if we need to make a major move, we can make a major move with a rising star who not only brings you good play on the court, which hopefully we're going to see from Obi, coming up, who not only brings you good play on the court, but also brings you some star-type power. Because teams, believe it or not, teams look at that as well when they're making moves. Yeah. Can this guy put butts in the seat? You know what I'm saying?
Can you sell jerseys? You got to be able to sell jerseys.
Right. So, I'm pretty sure that all of that and CAA, right, with them not being able to really go out and scout players, the way that they would have liked to, they probably relied on their connections and who they knew. You know what I'm saying? Look, I know this kid. I know his family. I know his work ethic. I know everything about him. I'm going to rely on that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm cool. Anytime we play somebody that we drafted after Obi, it's going to be that way. Anyone who's doing good that we drafted after Obi, it's going to be that way.
At least all the point guards.
Especially the point guards. Especially the point guards.
We heard it with Isaac Okoro. We heard, we heard it. We heard it,
But also, maybe they also was thinking about whether or not they would be able to re-sign Randle.
Right.
If they can, if he had a great season and he chooses to go, we have somebody.
That's a great point.
I would not be surprised if somebody like Bill came up or some big name player came up. Don't be surprised if Obi is in that trade.
No, Randle more likely because Randle's because of the money. And the expiring contract, it won't be Obi.
No. Him is trying to win. You trade Randle for Bill, you in the same place.
No, so according to the CBA, you have to have 85% of the contracts match. So it's not, you can't just eat the money.
You can.
Sim said something.
We got about $18 million, though.
If you have
something to this too.
If you have $18 million free in cap space that you can use to eat up some of that salary, then if Bill is making 30, then you only got to send out 12.
Yeah, and then you create with the money, you create the trade exception. That's why we can, swallow the money.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but don't be surprised. Traded Levine for Butler also.
Let me ask you this.
Traded draft pick and Phil Jackson. Knicks don't trade they draft pick. They haven't did that since Phil Jackson. If that's the case, he would have been going.
Right.
They working on it.
They don't trade the draft pick. They let them boys grow for 4 years. Then they say we either sign you or we don't sign you. But I never see the Knicks, even Holly Ward and them. Knicks organization never do that.
And Steph, let me ask you this.
No, the Knicks organization never signed. Like Charlie Wood was the last person we said. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't trade him on a rookie contract. That's what I'm saying. I never see the Knicks do that for a long time.
This is a different front. office.
But let me ask you this, Steph. But let me ask you this: if that did happen, if we went by your thinking, and they did put Obi in that, do you think that would destroy some of the culture that they were building?
No.
Not really.
I'm just asking.
The only way you do that is let you disrespect him and you do him dirty in the trade some way. but like it's business, and he got to understand that it's business to the degree that, again, if Leon Rose pull a trigger and it come down from Dolan, and that's why, like I said a couple weeks ago, where Dolan might get to meddling, the fact that, like I said, it's rumblings that we could be a playoff team. Trust me, it's some guys, like we said, in the next, 5 to 10 games who may not be here that we love, me and myself included, that again, that, what I'm saying, if something does shake, like she said, a Beal, Zach LaVine, any of these guys that could truly help Julius take us to the next level in the playoffs, I'm almost guaranteeing they're going to probably make that. They're going to.
Because think about it. If you're trying to hold on to, if you don't want to trade Barrett, if you don't want to trade Mitch, if you don't want to trade
cornerstones
Randle, if you want to hold on to who else you got?
Yeah,
you're gonna have to give up your draft picks and Obi and
Quickley,
if you're trying to hold on to those three, Knox, that's the next, next players to go.
Yeah, and Devon, what were you saying about the Knicks never trade?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, because see, you got to look at it from a business standpoint. You draft a guy and trade him. It's not a paying college that's going to go there. Why should I go there? They ain't gonna do nothing but trade me. That sets a bad precedence when it comes to your organizational look. You just drafted me, now you get rid of me. Players are not gonna want to come here. That's why Knicks, I never think the Knicks do that.
I've seen it once. Yeah,
I'm not saying that they won't do it.
Right. I've seen it once. I've seen it once. I actually witnessed it. Me and my wife, we went to Clyde's Wine and Dine for Porzingis' draft, and Galloway was there, and Tim Hardaway Jr. was there as well, and I forget who else. We didn't.
We did.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't stay for the whole thing, but as me and my wife was walking out, Tim Hardaway Jr. was outside talking, a couple of his people, and I told him, I said, "Hey Tim, don't worry about this year. You're gonna have a great year next year for us. Don't worry." He's like, "Thanks." Yes, I got on the train. We got on the train, and I'm looking at my phone. We traded him. I forget for what, but no, for Atlanta's pick.
Yeah.
And we drafted I forget his first name, but one of the Grant brothers.
Jerry Grant.
Jerry Grant. Yeah. So I think that's probably the only time where I've seen them,
And that was Steve Mills' move.
Well, actually,
that was actually Phil. That was actually Phil. Phil.
Obviously, they traded KP. They traded Tim Hardaway. They traded what's his name, Jordan Hill, for Tracy McGrady.
They traded people on there for
right. So that they traded Jordan Hill so that they can open up room to try to get LeBron and those guys.
Yeah.
They traded Daniel Otoro this year.
That was a stupid trade, dog. I wish we would have kept that kid. We could use Daniel Otoro.
But that's the only way we could have gotten Quickley, right?
No, we could have.
No. We traded to get that pick, and we just, traded him for a second-round pick in the future.
Yeah, the second round.
Oh, okay.
The thing about those second-round picks, those 2023 second-round picks, depending on where they are, those second-round picks could be as good as first-round picks.
Yeah.
Right? Because in 2023, you got high school kids can now. That's the first year that high school kids can now enter the draft. Yeah. So you're going to have high school kids enter the draft, plus you're going to have guys who were already in the NCAA, or already in college that enter the draft, right? So it's going to be a deep draft that year of high school kids coming out and guys who played in college for 1 year, guys who played in college for 2, 3, or 4 years coming out in that draft. So that could be, even in that second round, you might be able to get an all-star type of player.
Mitchell Robinson.
Another Mitch Robinson.
So, but tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we play the Portland Trailblazers. We got a chance to even it up, get back to 9-9, build a little bit of space between us and Chicago for that 8th spot. Right now, we're a half a game above Chicago for that 8th spot. If we can win tonight, we'll be a game above Chicago, and then Chicago plays Boston tomorrow. Right, which, might be a good game. There's a good chance that they lose that. There's a good chance that they win it too, but there's a good chance that they lose it, and maybe we even have a little bit more space between us and that 8th seed. Big shout out to Quindell Berry. He said, don't know if you mentioned it or not, but Halliburton's floater was just as ugly as his shot. Hey, But it's going in though. It's going in though. It's going in. It's going in. You know what I'm saying? He's making 47% of his 3-point shots. That joint's going in. You know, it may not look pretty, but the end result is what matters, I guess. Because
he reminds me of Reggie.
Because listen, we got a bunch of guys on our team that don't look good, right? Yeah. Julius Randle looks a little awkward when he does stuff. He jumps in the air, makes these passes and double clutches and all of that kind of stuff. Bullock, he looks the same way. RJ jab step. You know what I'm saying? Burks, he always looks like he's about to fall down when he goes to the basket. Nerlens Noel can't catch a ball.
Whatever shot he's taking.
Yeah, can somebody tell me why? Can somebody tell me why Mitch and Norns can't get the ball in the low post when somebody's driving and they're about to give it off to him and they just fumble it? Because RJ was trying to give it to Mitch, twice, and he fumbled it.
Well, and I think part of it is we can't see that the other guys are getting their hand. The defense is getting their hands in there and tipping it.
Yeah, that too.
You know what I'm saying? Now with Nerlens Noel, a lot of times he is not paying attention and doesn't expect it and is looking to get a rebound. Mitch expects it, but I think some other guys are getting their hands in there and tapping the ball away. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. But tonight, hopefully we can get a win, man. We got to deal with Damian Lillard. Hopefully Melo doesn't go off against us. And, Inez Kanter. Now, look, you already know Inez Kanter is going to say something on social media. He always does.
Oh, of course.
He's going to say something.
Of course. He's another salty dude that, that it is what it is.
Salty about what?
I don't know what he's salty about, but, that's just Inez Kanter. He's always saying something, man.
We didn't trade him, right? He just left, right? We just didn't re-sign him, right?
We didn't re-sign him.
Yeah, we didn't re-sign him.
Yeah, we didn't re-sign him. Yeah. Didn't re-sign him. Anyway, I'm going to start with you, Andy. Go around, get your
predictions.
Any final thoughts and predictions on the game?
Yeah, well, I kind of feel that this game is more winnable than the Golden State game. I think we have a better chance because basically Nurkic and CJ are out, and I think our defense is way better versus ISO-oriented teams than, ball-moving teams. Mm-hmm. That's why, I think, we can get a W here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I like playing ISO-heavy teams.
Yeah.
Especially now that we're playing better defense.
Yeah, exactly. And, I just hope Kanter doesn't kill us. I can take, a game where Melo kills us, but Kanter... Right. Divine?
Well, I'm hoping, we win this game. You know what? I'm hoping Mitchell Robinson have a real good game, man. Put Kanter in a defense position where he got to play defense. Hopefully Mitch with his athleticism can foul him out or keep him on the bench. But it's going to be a tough game, man. No matter what, you're playing Carmelo Anthony, Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Robert Covington, them ain't no slouches. Them brothers could play some ball. So, but then, like you said, their defense is suspect. I don't think we're going to go lose one against Sacramento, come back and lose tonight. So I'm going to predict the Knicks will win tonight, because I don't think we're going to lose it back-to-back, hopefully, because I think we're still playing good basketball. So I just think that that Sacramento game was kind of a letdown, because I had them blowing Sacramento out. You see how that happened. So but I'm going to go with the Knicks tonight, man, and I think we're going to show up tonight and get ready for Utah.
All right. Steph?
The same. I think the Knicks are going to win. I agree with Andy. Pick Dame up full court. If he does get in the lane, have the big step up and stop him. Everybody else rotate behind. And I think we'll be okay. Keep Kanter off the boards. He cannot get second and third shots. Yeah. And hopefully, hopefully this is the game where we hit our shots. When we hit our shots, and we're making our defensive rotations, we're a different team. If we're not hitting our shots, it's going to be a long one.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about that. That's what happened in Sacramento. We stopped hitting our shots in that second half. Mm-hmm. And, heavy legs. We weren't hitting shots, and, we struggled. Josh?
Knicks 101 to the Blazers 85. I think we win.
Wow.
tonight.
Okay. All right.
I think either Randle. I think either Randle or Barrett has a triple double tonight. One of those two guys are going to have a triple double.
Really?
And we keep Lillard to under. I'll say he have like 26, 27, but nobody else scores over 20 points.
So we keep him under 50.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Kev?
Yeah. I'm still hungry. I had a little bit of a stomach ache on Friday night, you know. But, took my Pepto-Bismol, you know, and I'm ready to eat some more tonight. I'll eat some ribs and some oven stuffed chicken. You know, I need all that. So I'm looking for a good performance tonight. And I apologize. I'm 50 years old, so I'm losing my mind a little bit. So I forget who said that we don't lose back-to-backs. We have been losing back-to-back losses. So I forget who said. But anyway,
a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're really going to bounce back tonight and have a really good performance. And yeah, man, I'm not going to predict the score because Andy doesn't want me to, so I'm not going to do that. But I think we'll win and be ready for Tuesday or Wednesday at Utah. Tuesday at Utah. So
I'm dreading that Utah game too. I'm not going to lie.
Well, okay, but
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we got to worry about tonight.
We'll deal tonight, and then between tomorrow and Tuesday, we will talk about it. We'll talk about it.
I'm dreading it a little bit, though. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay.
It's a revenge game. They're hot, and Donovan Mitchell is cooking right now. I'm dreading that game. Go ahead, Prince.
Hey, man. If we keep Dame under 30, we got a good chance of winning this. You know how we say, Sim, keep the two guards under 40, but since they don't have nobody else, you know Dame is going to step up tonight. With that being said, I think we could pull this one out. I really liked our pace in that Golden State game, and I got a bad feeling that I don't think Portland plays too much defense either. So, again, I got a feeling that we should be hitting on all cylinders, and I think we'll probably win by 10 tonight too. So we just need some contribution from the bench, though. That second unit, I'm going to need at least 15 from Quickley, and I think I need the same from Knox, too. I need at least 12 to 15 from him tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get that, we will win for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna get that Uncle Fulio number if we get contribution from the bench like that.
Yeah. Listen, the Knicks are holding people to like under 100 points. If you look at the last few games, they've just been right at the 100 point mark. So it's not a stretch to say that the Knicks can keep them to 85 points. I mean, I believe they can definitely do that. And
Sacramento was 104, right? Sacramento was 104?
Yeah, it's like right at that 100 point mark. They haven't been really getting too crazy. I think the last game where we gave up a lot was the Nets. But since then, it's just been like in the 80s and like some in the 90s and then a couple just over 100 points. So it's not crazy to think that. And if the Knicks hit their shots, we can get to 101 points easy. So that's why I came with that prediction.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to see Obi tonight.
I'm a little bit.
I would like to see Obi tonight.
Yeah.
Good game.
Yeah. The Trailblazers, they give up 113, almost 114 points per game. That's what they give up right now. I'm a little concerned that the Trailblazers are rested. They haven't played since the 18th, right? So they've been off for a week because so many games have been postponed. And, of course, the Knicks are in a stretch of a rough schedule of games, being played, just keep coming. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'm concerned that the Knicks, if it's a tight game, that the Knicks tire out in the fourth quarter. So I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned that it could be a special night for Damian Lillard because, he just had twins. He's feeling good.
And he was talking mess about us, too.
He's sleep deprived, son. He's sleep deprived.
He might be sleep deprived. He might be. You know what I'm saying? He might be sleep deprived.
I hope so.
But I've been looking at commercials of him, on TV all day long. I keep seeing Damian Lillard commercials. The Hulu, has more than live sports commercial. And then the boat commercial where he's he's got a beat machine not hooked up to anything and he's pushing the buttons and it's playing beats. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, at least wire it into a speaker or something. But so I just don't want Damian Lillard to have a special game on us tonight. I feel like things could be lined up for him to have a special game. He's been arrested. Twins, he knows that it's on his back to get things done. I don't want him to have one of them special games on us. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. I want him to, I want the Knicks to really play some tough defense on them. But I'm concerned about the Knicks defense tonight. And I know some people probably think crazy, but Reggie Bullock's not there. And I feel like Reggie Bullock adds that toughness to the defense. Like he adds that grit and grind to the defense. And, during that stretch when he was out, I didn't see it. It wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I'm a little concerned about the defense.
With that stretch he was out, didn't he only miss 2 games?
Like two or three games we lost him, and our defense didn't look good. And I'm not saying it's only because of him, but he just adds a piece to that defense that I think we miss. Right. He'd likely be guarding tonight. He would probably be guarding Rodney Hood, I guess.
Oh, Rodney Hood. Forgot about him. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably be guarding Rodney Hood. You know what I mean? So, hopefully Burks, can do a good job on Rodney Hood, and Rodney Hood doesn't get off. Their last game, when C.J. McCollum was out, Rodney Hood had 21. Rodney Hood's a good player. He can play.
Yeah, he is.
He can play. He can play basketball. So, I think we can win this game. I think the game will be around 106 to 102 or 106 to 101, something like that.
Oh, so you're saying it's low?
On there. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, not low. Scratch that. You think it's going to be tight?
I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a tight game, and the Knicks are going to have to pull it out. And it's going to be probably, if Damian Lillard goes off, it could look special, but it's probably going to be one of those games where it's really slow paced because they're a half court team. We're a half court team. You know what I mean? So it could be one of those type of games. But I'm looking forward to having a fun game. Seeing a fun one tonight, though.
Yeah.
A quick question to the panel.
He said something about
if Jared Harper got about to go to the bubble and play with the G League, do that create an open roster spot for the Knicks down there? He's going down there, even though he was on a two-way, but he's going to play in the bubble now. So that, but he's not. Is he still part of the 15-man roster, though he's going to the G League?
It's an Andy question. Andy would know. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm guessing he's not going to generate an open spot for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Steph?
It's more than Lillard had something to say about us in our record.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot it. So I think he's going to be wanting to back that up tonight as well.
Yeah, about the Nets, that we were the week. He said something about the Nets. The Knicks had a better record or something. He said, "Don't worry about it. Change in a week, something like that."
Yeah.
See.
Chunk. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
That's the reason why. That's why I wanted to annihilate Sacramento. And I wanted to annihilate Portland tonight. These were the two I wanted. So
that's what I fear, Kevin. That's what I fear, bro.
What do you fear?
That you want to annihilate him. Remember, with the Knicks, bro. you be happy when we do, but don't be happy before, bro.
Don't be happy before. I hear you.
Yeah.
And I think D Grant also mentioned Robert Covington, and he's gonna be the power forward. He's gonna be playing versus Julius, and that might be a hard matchup for Julius because he's a little bit smaller, but I don't think Julius can dribble around Robert Covington that much.
No.
So that
he can bully him.
Yeah, he can bully him though.
Yeah, he can bully him, but Covington's gonna reach that ball out of the dribble for Julius. He's not gonna be playing
a couple times, but you got to think. Well, like Sim said, Sim called it early in the season. What hurts Julius? What's Julius' kryptonite? Is long and lanky. Covington's not long and lanky. He's short and stout. We're not short. 6'7", 6'8". He's 6'8", stout. So again, that's the typical type of person Julius would love to go against. He can put him on his hip and on his back, and Covington's gonna be in trouble. He'll be in trouble.
You think Covington is stocky?
For his build, just his build.
Yeah, just his build.
Like Julius is stocky. Like Covington is just more like a bulky. I guess you call him bulky.
Wiry.
Yeah, he's But you saw what he did to Bagley. I'm not worrying about.
Boy, he was giving it to Bagley though.
Oh my!
He was getting mad because Bagley was fouling him, and Randle started putting it in his chest.
Yeah, refs weren't calling nothing. Yeah,
I think he was talking junk too. He was talking junk.
Yeah, he started putting it in his chest. Then boom, banging that shoulder in his chest. Boom,
knocking that ball around out there.
Yeah,
Hey,
remember the one he had him down low and he just put it, over his head and everything?
Yeah, I mean, Randle's definitely a bulldog, man, when he wants to be.
Yeah, exactly. The and one.
The and one, the Jordan left hand layup.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Him and RJ continue that. Well, they the only two duels in the NBA right now. In the last 5 games, over 22 points a game, each one of them.
Yeah.
One of two. Randle and Barrett, and some 22, right?
Well, one of two is another duo.
Yeah. They continue that. Oh man, we one more player away
RJ heard what Josh was talking about. RJ heard what Josh was talking about.
I'm glad he did.
Right,
exactly.
responded.
Right.
He responded.
Anyway. No wonder Guillermo, spamming it all over the place. So.
Right. Right. No doubt.
I still stand behind what I said. I mean, I was just trying to help the kid, but obviously he doesn't.
I don't see anything wrong with it. He was playing bad at the time, right?
That's it.
He was playing bad at the time. He's better now,
Yeah, and he still could have played, over 30 minutes. Just start the game at the bench.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
I mean, I don't get it. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I will see you guys tonight, probably about 12:45 for the post game. We got two more of these late nights, ladies and gentlemen. 2 more of these late nights, and then we can, everybody can, get some rest and go back to some normal human being times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, be peaceful, ladies and gentlemen. Go enjoy the rest of this playoff game, and the Bucks and Green Bay. Go enjoy the rest of that, and I'll see you guys tonight.
All right.
Out of here.
Hey, spread love.
All right.
No doubt. Spread love, ladies and gentlemen. We out of here.